They gave us the soundtrack to our lives, the anthems of rebellion, the ballads of heartbreak. But for some of rock's brightest stars, the final chord was a question mark. Their stories didn't end with a fade-out. They ended in mystery, shrouded in suspicion and doubt.
Lead singer Dennis Edwards died here in Chicago last night. Investigator Brad Edwards broke the story and has more on his life and his passing.
These are the official stories, and the lingering questions that refuse to go away. Stick with us till the end while we uncover rock stars who died under suspicious circumstances. Felix Papalardi was a musical virtuoso, a music school dropout who could play virtually any instrument. He produced Cream's groundbreaking albums and co-wrote their hit Strange Brew with lyricist Gail Collins, his wife at the time. He became the bassist for Mountain, and Leslie West credited him with teaching him everything he knew about music. But behind the scenes, Papalardi's marriage was crumbling. He was having an affair with a would-be singer named Valerie Marians, and his wife Gail was devastated. On April 17, 1983, Papalardi returned home after being with Marians. What happened next would become one of rock's most controversial deaths. Gail shot him in the neck with a handgun he had given her as a gift. She claimed it was an accident during a 6 a.m. firearms training session. But police found the ripped-up marriage certificate in the trash. Despite the suspicious circumstances, a jury believed her story. She was convicted of criminally negligent homicide and served just 2 years in prison. Was it truly an accident, or a crime of passion that got away with barely a slap on the wrist? Brian Jones founded the Rolling Stones. He named them after Muddy Waters' Rolling Stone Blues and assembled the band that would change rock and roll forever. But by 1969, Jones was out, fired from his own creation. Just weeks later, on July 3, 1969, he was found dead at the bottom of his swimming pool. The official cause? Death by misadventure during a drug-fueled accident. But the story never sat right. The coroner's autopsy revealed minimal drugs in his system, contradicting the narrative of a drug-induced drowning. Over the decades, witnesses changed their stories. His girlfriend Anna Wolin and friend Janet Lawson both later claimed that builder Frank Thorogood was in the pool with Jones during some kind of horseplay or struggle. In 2005, Wolin told investigators she believed Thorogood had accidentally killed Jones and made no effort to save him. A 1994 book alleged Thorogood confessed on his deathbed. With so many conflicting accounts and so little physical evidence of drug use, the question remains: did the founder of the Rolling Stones accidentally drown, or was he murdered? Dennis Edwards had one of the most powerful voices in soul music. The Temptations' lead singer delivered unforgettable performances on classics like Papa Was a Rollin' Stone and Cloud 9, which earned the group its first Grammy Award. He was a legend, a Hall of Famer, a man who had given decades to music. But in 2018, just days before his 75th birthday, he died from complications of meningitis. A sad but seemingly straightforward end, except the court documents told a very different story. Just weeks before his death, the Healthcare Consortium of Illinois filed an emergency protection order on his behalf, accusing his wife Brenda of horrific abuse. She had allegedly attempted to smother him by pressing his face against a bed and withholding his hearing aids, leaving him isolated and unable to communicate. Brenda had also moved him from St. Louis, where he'd lived for over 30 years, to Chicago, cutting him off from family and friends. The timing of his death was deeply suspicious. Brenda was scheduled to appear in court to face the abuse allegations the very week he died. With his passing, the case was dismissed. The official cause may be meningitis, but the circumstances surrounding his death remain deeply troubling. In the dark, violent world of Norwegian black metal, mayhem was king. and their leader Uranimus was its tyrannical ruler. His real name was Oystein Arseth, but he lived up to his stage name in every way. He was known for his extreme violence, his obsession with evil, and his complete lack of empathy. He once assaulted someone with a broken bottle. He photographed a dead bandmate and mailed pieces of the corpse's skull to other black metal musicians. He habitually threatened people and bragged about attempting to poison someone. He wanted to out-evil everyone around him. In 1993, his bandmate Varg Vikernes, also known as Count Grishnak, arrived at Uranimus's door with a knife. What followed was a brutal attack. Uranimus was stabbed 23 times in the head, neck, and back. Vikernes claimed self-defense, insisting Uranimus had plotted to torture and kill him over financial and political disputes. But another bandmate, who drove Vikernes to the scene, claimed the murder was premeditated. Given the sheer brutality of the attack and Uranimus's own history of violence, the line between performance and reality was always blurred. Was it self-defense against a genuine threat, or a calculated, brutal murder? Elliott Smith was the master of melancholy, a singer-songwriter whose gentle voice and heartbreaking lyrics earned him an Oscar nomination for Miss Misery from the Good Will Hunting soundtrack. His music was introspective, vulnerable, and deeply personal. But behind the beauty of his songs lay a man struggling with severe depression and addiction. He frequently threatened to end his life during arguments. In October 2003, he had a heated argument with his girlfriend, Jennifer Chiba. According to Chiba, she locked herself in the bathroom, heard a scream, and came out to find Smith with a knife in his chest. A supposed suicide note was found. The official ruling was suicide, but the autopsy report raised serious red flags. The coroner couldn't rule out homicide. Smith had defensive wounds on his hands, cuts consistent with someone fighting back. The 2 stab wounds were deep and precise, not typical of self-infliction, which usually involves hesitation wounds as the person struggles with the act. The fact that Chiba removed the knife before calling 911 only added to the suspicion. She later sued Smith's estate for over $1 million, claiming she deserved his earnings. She lost. The case remains officially unsolved, a tragic mystery befitting the man they called Mr. Misery. The death of The Doors frontman Jim Morrison in a Paris bathtub on July 3, 1971, is one of rock's greatest mysteries. The official cause of death was heart failure. But here's the problem. No autopsy was ever performed. His body was never examined by American authorities. The only person to witness his death was his girlfriend, Pamela Corson, and her story changed multiple times over the years. The announcement of his death was delayed for 6 days, and he was buried quickly in a Parisian cemetery with minimal fanfare. For decades, conspiracy theories have swirled. Did he really die of a heart attack? Or was it a heroin overdose, as many close to him later claimed? Musician Marianne Faithfull alleged that her drug dealer boyfriend supplied Morrison with a particularly potent batch of heroin, leading to an accidental overdose. Band photographer Bobby Klein claimed The Doors' producer told him Morrison had mistaken heroin for cocaine and fatally inhaled it. Others have suggested he faked his own death to escape the pressures of fame. Without an autopsy, the truth is buried with the Lizard King himself. When Nancy Spungen, the notorious girlfriend of Sex Pistols bassist Sid Vicious, was found stabbed to death in their room at the Chelsea Hotel on October 12, 1978, the case seemed open and shut. Sid, in a drug-fueled haze, initially confessed to police, telling them, "I did it because I'm a dirty dog." But within days, he recanted, claiming he had no memory of the event. He said he was unconscious when the murder occurred. Before he could stand trial, Sid himself was dead from a heroin overdose on February 2, 1979. but many people believe he was innocent of Nancy's murder. Witnesses reported that a drug dealer had been in the room that night, and a large sum of money, around $1,500, was missing. Was it a robbery gone wrong? The most shocking theory came from Sex Pistols photographer Peter Gravel, who alleged that Sid's own mother, Ann Beverly, wanting to spare her son a life in prison, administered the fatal heroin overdose that killed him. A tragic love story, a murder-suicide, or something far more sinister. We'll likely never know the truth. On February 1, 1995, Richie Edwards, the brilliant and troubled lyricist and guitarist for the Manic Street Preachers, walked out of his London hotel and vanished. Edwards was a tortured artist. He suffered from severe depression and regularly engaged in self-harm, cutting himself as a form of emotional release. His lyrics were dark, introspective, and deeply personal, exploring themes of pain, despair, and inner turmoil. 2 weeks after his disappearance, his car was found abandoned near the Severn Bridge, a notorious spot where people have ended their lives. For years, the official assumption was that he had jumped. But for those who knew him, it never added up. Edwards had publicly stated on multiple occasions that he would never take his own life. In the weeks before he disappeared, he had been withdrawing large sums of cash daily from ATMs, thousands of pounds. Why would someone planning to end their life withdraw money? Over the years, there have been numerous unconfirmed sightings of him around the world, from Thailand to South America. In 2008, he was legally declared presumed dead, but for his family and devoted fans, the case is far from closed. Did he end his own life, or did he orchestrate the ultimate disappearing act? They had the fame, the fortune, the adoration of millions, yet their final moments are wrapped in shadows and whispers. Whether it was a cover-up, a tragic mistake, or a story we'll never truly know, their official cause of death leaves more questions than answers. Which of these rock star mysteries do you find the most compelling? Let us know in the comments. If you believe the truth should never be forgotten, hit like, subscribe, and help us keep their stories alive. More unsolved cases and mysterious ends are coming soon. Thank you for watching.